Hello, everybody. It's time for the week 3 announcements, and this is a pretty big week of announcements. So please make sure that you watch this video and that you refer to the document that has the announcements as well. Of course, I'll be sending a Canvas announcement that should go into your email since the important thing and what makes these announcements so important is that we have our first class quiz next week. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how the 2 attempt policy for my quizzes work on the next slide. But I just want to go ahead and give you the reminder that quiz 1, our first official quiz of the semester, and there will be 6 of these over the semester, 2 of them before we have each major in-class exam. And our first one is next week. So you'll on Monday, you'll have what I call your first attempt at quiz 1. That's Monday, the 8th of February and anytime from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And please remember this 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for all quizzes and exams. You can log on to Canvas and you'll be given 12 minutes to complete the 12-question quiz. Now, the timer is there to make sure that you have studied and that you can proficiently go through the material. So, the time factor here is to make sure that you can't just spend all day looking stuff up. I want you to actually have gone through the studying process, and that's where the learning is really happening. And then the quiz is me assessing how much you learned through your studying process. All right, so quiz 1 is next week. You have your first attempt on Monday, and then you're going to have a second attempt on for the quiz on Thursday. Again, that's going to be available on Canvas from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Thursday. And you can log on, and whenever you take it, you'll have a 12-minute timer to complete the 12-question quiz. It'll be slightly different than your first attempt since I use large pools of questions to create a quiz. And then that way, it makes sure that you broadly studied, you have a broad understanding, and I'm sampling all the topics that we have. Plus, it makes it so you're not taking the same quiz as your friends in the class. All right, so I like to give you a lot of help in preparing for the quizzes, especially this first quiz. So I have released what I call quiz hints, and I'll do this for every quiz. They'll always be released at least a week out before the quiz. So they went live on Canvas today. And the quiz 1 hints, you can find them in the week 3 module. That's the week that we're in currently. You'll see quiz hints. So you can just click on the PowerPoint version or the PDF version. Same either way, there's no animations and quiz hints or anything like that. So your quiz hints are available under the week 3 module, quiz 1 hints. There's also a separate module on Canvas called quiz hints and exam must knows. And this is where I put all the quiz hints and all the exam must knows. It is sort of my archive of all quiz hints and exam must knows. So you can just go find the quiz hints there as well. You can link to them via a document, or you can click on the actual files and download them directly from that module. Okay, so since this is our first quiz, I want to give you some information about how I do quizzes because it's different than probably any class that you've had, unless you've had one of my classes in the past. So, what are my quiz procedures? First and foremost, I do not use Lockdown Browser or Respondus, which means that there's no way that I can control whether or not you're using open notes and looking through your own notes that you prepare or looking through the notes that I've given you, the textbook. I have designed all of my quizzes and exams to be open notes, open book quizzes and exams. So feel free to use whatever materials you have. In fact, I suggest that you go through the quiz hints, prepare your own page, like one side of a page, or if you want to do front and back, prepare your own notes. And that will be part of your studying process as preparing your sort of quick reference guide. And then that way, whenever you do find a question that you don't immediately know the answer to, then you have your own notes that you prepared. And I bet you know where you took notes on that topic within your notes. So I suggest you actually prepare your own specialized set of notes to make sure that you can do well on the quizzes. Now, the quizzes and exams, while they're open note, they're definitely not open friend. You got to work independently, and I have to trust you to do that. And I've put in all the safeguards I can to make sure that it's very, 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 very difficult to cheat off a friend. This is mostly done because I create very large pools of questions. So every student will have a unique quiz. Typically for quizzes, there are hundreds of thousands to millions of unique quizzes. For exams, they often butt up to 10 to the 15th to sometimes even more unique versions of the exam than there are stars in the universe. So I can pretty much statistically guarantee that your quiz is different than everybody else's quiz. So you will have a different quiz from everybody else. But again, it's open book, open notes. So the questions are drawn from a large pool of questions, and this means that your first and second attempts will not be identical. Your second attempt will cover the exact same material. It's outlined in the quiz one hint. So if you're worried what's on quiz one, if it's not on the quiz one hints, it won't be on the quiz. The way that I designed the quiz hints is that every question will have a bullet point somewhere on the quiz hints, either a main bullet point or a sub bullet point or a sub bullet point, if it's on the quiz hints. So every question will have some indicator on the quiz hints, but not everything on the quiz hints will be a question. All right, so quiz one, the first and second attempts that you take will not be identical, but they cover the same material, and I've designed them to have the same level of difficulty across the board. And the way that this process works is I'm very into this idea of we should feel comfortable in making mistakes. It's a natural way to figure out what we don't know. It is a natural way to learn. And the two attempts, you take the first attempt, get ready as much as you can. You'll take the attempt and you'll know if you knew everything or if you'll know what you didn't know by the time you finish it. And then you have a chance to go shore up where you found the gaps in your knowledge for a second attempt to improve your grade. It also gives me the opportunity to review all of the class's results and identify the most missed questions, the most commonly misunderstood concepts, and then I can prepare a response, which will be a Canvas discussion that'll come to you via the Canvas discussion, where I'll give you some supplemental instruction, really indicating these are the things you need to take note of and try to give you alternative explanations that didn't exist in the videos or the notes, anything that I can do to help you master the material that you're having the most trouble with. So we are all going to be learning in this process. And we'll have this wonderful Canvas discussion that'll give you a chance to read through the material that I prepared, the feedback that I'm going to give you to the entire class. And it'll give you the chance to ask me questions because maybe I didn't say something, I didn't cover the one question that you had in my response, or maybe you still have some lingering doubts that you really understand this concept. So you can use that discussion to ask me questions and then I can respond to those questions. We have all the way between the first attempt, the release of the discussion, which will happen on Tuesday, all the way up until Wednesday night. So we'll have 2 full days of this iteration of back and forth of me giving you feedback and you having more time to review your notes, the videos, and refocus your studying before you take the second attempt. So just a little bit on how the grading works. So if you're very happy with your first quiz attempt, like you got a 12 out of 12 or an 11 out of 12, and you're like, you know what, that's good enough. 12 out of 12 is definitely good enough. Congratulations. I hope you get a 12 out of 12. But if you are happy with your first attempt, you do not have to take the second attempt. However, you must take the first attempt. It's just if you're happy with your first attempt, you can skip the second attempt. So let's say you scored something like a 8 out of 12 on your first attempt, and you really would like to pull that up. You take the second attempt, and what I'll do is I'll take the score you got on the first attempt, the score you got on the second attempt, average those together, and that will be your overall quiz 1 grade, which will be released on Canvas once I have the results from the first attempt and second attempts. Using this process last semester, the average quiz grade went up by about a letter grade. It went up 1 to 2.5 more correct responses between the first and second attempt. So this is a process that definitely improves grades. Hopefully it's improving your learning as well. If you have more questions about the quiz procedures, ask them on the course policies Canvas, send me an email. I'll make sure that you get what you need. There's also lots of material. Go look at those key course concepts. Go look at the syllabus where I explain this in sort of a narrative instead of a video. Okay, so a lot of these announcements were just about quiz 1, but we have other course announcements. A couple of things that I picked up on over the week. So if you're having trouble with an engagement exercise or a homework question, before shooting off an email to me personally asking about this question, be sure to check the related discussion boards first. Somebody has already probably posted about it. Or if they haven't, you have the opportunity to be the first person to post about it. And then that way, whenever I give a response, I'll be extra careful in giving the response. I'll put extra time into it to make sure that it's a general response that everybody can benefit from. Because if you're having a question, other people are probably having a question. So if you have a question, first go check the related discussion board. The EEs, the engagement exercises, that's our weekly discussions. And our homework assignments, there is a special discussion for every homework assignment. Go check there. If you see a question that you already had and you want to know the answer to, like it. And then that way I know there's extra special attention on that one. Sort of like upvotes that as important things for me to make sure you get a very thorough response on. But check the discussion boards before shooting off an email to me. The only thing I ask is do not copy, paste, or take pictures of a question with a correct answer or your attempt at an answer marked. You can describe what the problem is and that you're not getting it right. Try not to post answers on the discussion because if it's a correct answer, then people are just going to be able to mark that. And then I'll have to delete it because that's in essence a form of cheating. But I'm not going to like come down on anybody. If you accidentally do it, I'll contact you and say I have to remove this, explain why I'm removing it, and then I'll remove it. All right, so I also noticed with the week 1 engagement exercise, question 8, lots of questions about question 8. And this mostly came down to understanding that capitalization matters in your metric prefixes. Mega is indicated by a capital M. Milli is indicated by a lowercase m. Mega with a capital M is millions of something. That's a whole lot of somethings. So 1 megameter with a capital M here is 1 million meters. Milli with a lowercase m is thousandths of something. That's really, 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 really small. In 1 meter, there are 1,000 millimeters, or 1 millimeter equals 0.001 meters. These are very different numbers. In fact, they're different by a factor of 1 billion. 10 to the 9th, 10 to the 6th, 10 to the minus 3. It would be a difference of 10 to the 9th. And then just to make sure everybody's on board, there's another one that looks like an M, but it's a letter that you maybe have never seen before. It's a lowercase mu from the Greek alphabet, and that stands for micro, which means millionths of something. So 1 micrometer equals 0.000001 meters. Very, 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 very small distance. So make sure that you pay attention to the capitalizations. And this is the one oddball right here, micro. So I wanted to go ahead and bring that to your attention as well. All right, so just a general announcement to the class, just a reminder that the way that I view the engagement exercises are my tool to make sure that you are progressing through this class on a week-by-week basis. And you're keeping up with the material as if you were coming to class every week and sitting and attending my lectures every week, watching my videos or going through the notes, however you're digesting the material the best. My engagement exercise is my way of making sure that you're at least engaging with the exercise and keeping up with what topics we're covering, the kind of common questions I'm going to ask, the concepts that are important. So I treat the engagement exercise, I give you an infinite number of tries, so it should be fairly easy to get an extraordinarily high average over all the engagement exercises as long as you're doing them. And the way I think about them is this is what's replacing an attendance grade. So instead of seeing if you're coming to class, I'm making sure that you're keeping up with the weekly material, and I'm doing it with an engagement exercise to make sure that you're sort of present for that week. Which means if you miss an engagement exercise, you sort of miss it. I'm going to be a little bit lenient this first week because we're all adapting to a new system and flexibility is an important thing. So if you did somehow end up forgetting the first engagement exercise, please let me know what happened. Don't just game the system. But I am pretty merciful for the first one. But in the coming engagement exercises, if you miss it, you miss it. If you know that you have an extenuating circumstances, let me know ahead of time. Sometimes there are like severe disasters that will take out your entire Sunday, so you had no chance of finishing it. In those cases, you can let me know afterwards, but simply, oh, I forgot about it, is not going to cut it as an excuse. All right, and I just want to make sure, I got several emails about this over the past week. Participation in the discussions is 100% voluntary. I do not use the discussions as a grade in any way whatsoever. It's just a way for you to interact with me, your instructor, and to liven up this class by increasing engagement and for you to have access to me as a resource so you can get what you need to succeed in this class. Also, it's a good way for me to enrich the class. And with that whole idea of enhancing and enriching the class, keep on the lookout for my special topic discussions. I've been I really have enjoyed, and I have some more that I need to go through about our special topics about the cosmic calendar and how long humanity might make it, and how humans define time. So I'm going to be trying to create new special discussions for every week. We'll have at least one a week to kind of liven up this class, give it a little bit of extra context. And then remember that I'm going to be releasing, hopefully every week, an astronomy and context video that really anchors what we're studying or tells you why astronomy is important or really pushes to some of the cooler parts of astronomy. So keep your eyes out for that. Okay, I know this has been an extraordinarily long announcements. So please pay attention to the assignments. Again, you'll get a reminder on Canvas about this as well. But we do have the week 3 engagement exercise due this Sunday. Engagement exercises are due every week, always on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. It's already available to you, so if you want to knock it out, as soon as you go through the material, knock it out. If you want to use it as a primer for what I think the most important concepts are, so that whenever you're paying attention to the videos or going through the notes, or if you want to use it as a way to sort of your first stab at going through the notes, as long as you get it done, just get it done. And then there's homework 1, unit 1, our first homework assignment. These are a little bit more in depth, more questions of higher difficulty. They're really about digesting the material and making sure that you're getting the concepts on a deeper level. That is due on Wednesday. That's 3 February, and it's always the homeworks are due at 11:59 p.m. You get 3 attempts for homework assignments. So keep that in mind. It's not an infinite number of attempts. And if you have questions, post on the homework 1 discussion if you're having any certain questions or problems with it, and then I can address those questions and problems. Whew. All right, let's just go ahead and wrap this up. So in general, with our homework assignments, they are available to you 2 weeks in advance before they're due. I think I have it set up so that should always be the case, but I do this so you can start on them early. This first homework assignment has been available to you, I think, since the beginning of the semester is how I set it up. But I just wanted to let you know that you always have ample time to access the homework assignments. All right, so that's what I have for this extraordinarily long or announcements and assignments video. Break it up into chunks. I guess that's useless to say at the end, but hey, here we are at the end. So let's wish everybody luck on week 3. I hope you have a good week of not only astronomy classes, but all of your classes. And I will see you in the videos and the discussions.